knee.
So McKernan comes off the ground, obviously in a lot of pain.
The king.
Started brilliantly, their champion. At centre wing.
The points.
Lockett, the most important kick of his career. Any score will do. He kicks.
The pandemonium.
Unbelievable scenes here at the SCG. Unbelievable scenes.
The winner. All up for discussion with special guest Tim Watson tonight on Talking Footy.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Talking Footy. What a night it's been at the World Congress Centre with dual Brownlow medalists, James Hird and Michael Voss. We'll be talking to them in just a moment, and their fiancés. And you must feel for Corey McKernan also tonight, who also had 21 votes. Welcome to Mike Sheehan.
Hi, Bruce.
It was a great night, wasn't it?
It's fantastic. That's the best count I've been to.
Malcolm Blight, who won the Brownlow Medal in 1978. Malcolm, for you tonight?
We talked about it being electrifying. I mean, those last 3 or 4 rounds were just... You just feel in there, every time a vote was given, it was as a cheer or a moan or whatever.
Yeah.
It was great.
And Tim Watson, who has many hats these days, and a former runner-up in the Brownlow Medal, 4 times the best and fairest at Essendon. Great to have you on the program tonight, Tim.
Thanks, Bruce.
Enjoy it?
Tonight was sensational. I think that we've probably all been to Brownlow Medal nights that have been a little bit boring, but tonight was just one of those nights. It just went right up to the wire, and as you said, the atmosphere was just amazing tonight.
Let's look at the top 6 and what quality at the top and the changes that occurred even in the last 3 rounds when they were read out 21-22 and 20-21-22.
It was like the Cox Plate, wasn't it? Every time you saw a name, you knew it was a quality performer. I mean, that's the top 10 are probably the best they've ever been.
Grant, so close.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Paul Salmon thing was interesting at the end. Everyone said he had a great second half to the year, and he really did. And if you watched his form, it was just... it was almost true to the word, wasn't it? The count was almost true. And looking at some of the better players, we've got a big sheet here, how they polled. And, you know, some of the good players were quiet early, then finished
Harvey was one, wasn't he?
Harvey was one of
Harvey.
those. We talked about Michael Voss being terrific early and then just had that flat spot.
And Roosie with the big finish. I mean, it was a long time getting into the votes, but then he had 4 threes in 5 weeks.
Yeah. Look, let's go back to the World Congress Centre and talk to James and Michael, who tonight are dual Brownlow medalists, and Tanya next to James, so Tanya on the right and Donna on the left, both fiancés of James and Michael respectively. To the 2 young men, congratulations. You've had a little time now, you've talked to the press as well as being on television. How's it feeling for both of you?
Not bad, Bruce. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
You can get excited about it, James.
Yeah, I actually agree with Michael that it is the best Brownlow count I've been to too. It's a very exciting night, and look, really, it's probably even made better to win it alongside Michael, who I respect greatly as a footballer, and really, it's just fantastic to win it with him.
It's a bit harder waiting for the votes to be called out than standing over a shot from 50 metres, James?
Yeah, it was very hard. Look, that's probably one of the more anxious moments in my life. I suppose Saturday night probably has to go as the top when Tony Lowe kicked the goal, and this would come second, I suppose.
It's amazing, isn't it? Michael, first one from Brisbane. It's a great honour, son.
Oh, it certainly is, Malcolm. You know, it's the last one from the Brisbane Bears, which is even more special for me. Because I, cherish the Brisbane Bears Football Club. However, we know we're going into a new era with the Brisbane Lions, so that should be fantastic again.
James, what goes through your mind over those last couple of rounds when you know you're so close?
Oh, I think you think, did I play well? Didn't I play well? I thought I had a couple of pretty good games, but you never know how the umpires poll, and I've never really polled that well in the last few years, so I was very lucky. I can't really remember exactly what I was going through, Tim. I'd be lying if I told you. Maybe I'll just say I was thinking about you the whole time.
James, can I just say something here? Some of the famous photos in footy are Bob Skilton when he got his 3rd Brownlow medal with a nick under the eye. Can you repeat his feat with a couple more?
Well, I hope so. It'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? I was going into Melbourne Uni into the car park today, and the lady on the gate actually said to me, it's a good luck charm that you've actually got a black eye and a cut under your eye, because Bob Skilton was exactly the same. So she's watching. I'd like to thank you very much, Mrs. Car Park attendant.
Michael, you were overheard at one stage saying that you were a bit surprised to pick up a vote late in the count. Did the umpires get it right in your memory of your performances?
Oh, I mean, I had a fairly good start to the season, probably a bit of a lull in mid-season, and played, fairly well in the last few games, which, the Bears won 6 of the last 7, I think, which was
There's your mum and dad, Michael.
Quite fantastic. And, you know, so I really didn't know. I mean, you don't know with umpires whether you're going to poll 3, 2, 1 or none at all. It's, I suppose that's what makes the suspense of it all.
Yeah, you've got to be nice to them now, though, from here on in. just to the girls sitting there quietly, it's obviously been a big night for both the girls sitting alongside their would-be men.
Yes, Donna and Tanya, who have engaged to both. Donna, Tanya, anything to say about the night for you?
Well done to both the guys.
And James, also, when you made your speech at the end of the night there, you mentioned your grandfather. Now, he has a huge influence on your life, doesn't he?
He does have a huge influence. He really, I suppose, since I've been very young, he and my father have followed my football to a great extent, and they've always been the ones who've been out in the backyard kicking the football with me. And the way he follows it now in Melbourne, I mean, he's getting on in years, but he's just fantastic and so passionate about his football and passionate about myself, I suppose. And I really love the way my whole family gets behind me in my football, and especially my grandfather and my father and my mother, who really mean so much to me as a group of people, and I just love them to death.
Good on you, James. And Michael, your mum and dad, we can see them at the Gabba tonight. Your father was a very good player. He coached at the country level successfully, and I know your mum's your greatest supporter. Would you like to have a quick chat to him, Michael?
Well, I can see a few people there, like Timo and Trent and Co, and there they are, carrying on. I'm sure they're going to have probably as late a night as what I'm going to have.
Gary, a word, Sandra, a word to your son?
Love you, Michael. You're such a champion. We adore you.
Biased.
You really are a champion, mate.
Michael, I know, Michael, the night of the Team of the Century that you had your autograph book there. I know that you love the history of the sport. You love the history of footy. You spent all night getting autographs with some of those famous players in the past. That must have been a hoot for you, being named in the AFL Team of the Year and being there with all the legends of the past.
Oh, so, I mean, you're never going to get those legends in the same room again. It was just fantastic to be there, and you know, as we came off the stage, the legends were going on, and you know, they were shaking my hand, saying the best of luck and so forth, and I felt like shaking their hand, saying the best of luck. So, but I mean, they're just fantastic, proven players, legends of the game, and it's great just to respect them. You know, of their achievements that they've achieved. They've achieved the best that they can in their football, and there was no greater honour than winning the you know, being a part of the Team of the Century.
To both of you, when the count started at about 8:30, who did you think was the one to beat?
James Erd.
They're good judges.
I can just see you blokes in 20 years' time being like Bernie Quillan and Barry Rowan when they get together being the joint winners. They're going to be shocking.
Definitely, I'll have a couple of beers together, I'd say. It's a bit of a moment to share together. It's really fantastic.
What about for Corey McKernan tonight? Ineligible. Same number of votes as both of you. Any thoughts for them? And this is the incident where Corey was reported and suspended, out for a week, and deemed ineligible to win the Brownlow Medal. I think it says a lot for the integrity of the system that a man can be suspended and be ineligible and still receive votes for the rest of the year. It's the right way to go. The AFL have made the correct decision, and good on the umpires for continuing to give McKernan the votes he received. But that was the incident that cost McKernan the Brownlow. He lost the Norwich Rising Star over, was it a tripping?
No, it was deliberately, he grabbed the bloke's foot in Perth.
But hand tripping. And here's Corey watching the Brownlow. We were going to try and talk to him tonight, but you can understand he didn't want to be a part of it, and it's been a tough old night for him tonight. And well, he's got a big week in front of him with his bad knee and the chance to play in a premiership team.
Will it give him a sting, Malcolm, on the fact that the disappointment of tonight, what impact or what ramifications does that have for a bloke on grand final day?
Well, obviously it's a huge disappointment for him, and the rules are the rules. But one of the ironies of the whole thing I've found is that the two young champs, in fact the three of them, weren't they, just fantastic players. James and Michael have been involved in teams that actually got knocked out on the weekend through all sorts of reasons. And there is Corey going to go for a grand final and premiership medal, and I suppose James has already got one of those, and Michael's looks as though he might be heading that way. So it's a bit of an irony, but perhaps he can play the game of his life now and win the Norm Smith medal. A
thought for Corey from you, James, or Michael?
Yeah, I feel very sorry for Corey, but I honestly, and I've said this before, would rather be in his situation than the one I'm in at the moment. I'd much rather have a chance at winning a premiership which is what we play. We play a team game, and I've been playing a team game since I was 5 years old, and I really would rather be in his situation. Very good chance to win a grand final and a premiership, and you know, it'd be very disappointing for him to lose or not to win the Brownlow Medal, but because he's still got that chance, if he does win the premiership, I think he will consider himself better off than myself and Michael.
Michael, you must be pleased to see the recognition for Adrian Fletcher. He's had a great year, hasn't he?
He certainly has. It's been long overdue for Fletcher. I thought he would have been very close last year. He was overlooked on a certain amount of games, which was a bit disappointing. But, you know, Fletcher's had a great year again. As what the commentators say, he just keeps winning the ball and getting his body in there, and does all the hard stuff for us, like Craig Lambert. I mean, they're just both fantastic in and under players. You know, I just like to say to Corey, I mean, if he obviously watching, I hope he takes out the Norm Smith medal and wins a premiership, because he certainly deserves it, because he's had a great season. Good on you, Michael. And James, just a quick one, Michael, would have you been able to play this week, do you think, had you got through your ankle? Oh, certainly. I needed probably 2 more days, you know, maybe even a day, and I would have been, well, they say cherry ripe this week. Cherry ripe. And just, we better get a tip. We've got to leave almost. A tip for the final. You both played the 2 grand finalists on the weekend, James against Sydney and Michael, your team against North Melbourne. Who do you fancy? Well, I think I've seen both of them, and North at first hand, obviously. I think North will be too strong. However, I'll be cheering my heart out for Sydney, because, you know, it'll just be fantastic for north of the border for an interstate team to win it. I think North will win by a few goals. They've been the best side all year, in my opinion, the best side we played. So I think North will get up quite convincingly.
James and Michael, welcome to the club too, boys.
Thanks very much, Malcolm. Thanks, Malcolm.
Tim, you could almost say that as being the runner-up once, but not quite. Have you got a final word?
Well, I'd just like to say that, James, we've never had a wedding here on Talking Footy. Why not just bring it forward about 3 or 4 months, mate?
Only if you'll come, Tim.
I'll be best man.
And Michael as well.
You weren't invited.
I wasn't going to say that to you, Tim.
Well, Donna and Tanya, good luck for the future.
Thanks so
And
much.
to both of you, it's a great night for you as well. And very, very proud of you, Michael, and also James. And we'll leave this first segment, those 2 dual Brownlow medalists together, and as we go on the way out, we might look at 2 very proud parents. There they are, Gary and Sandra, the bosses. And James has talked about his family so well tonight. We'll be back with more right after this.
Okay. To the wing position on the member stand side. Oh, just a wrinkle! You beauty!
Celebrating 100 years of cheers with Carlton Draft.
What's the difference between an ordinary light bulb and a Philips Energy Saver? Around $45 off your power bill. That's enough for a nice desk lamp. Philips Energy Savers. Let's make things better.
And they sang, I'm in the way, in the bright, shining way. I'm in the glory land way. Well, soon I got so happy my hands were clapping too. My cup was overflowing and I was feeling new. So when they started singing, I was lost, but now I'm found. I opened up my heart and helped them sing the glory down, and they sang, I'm in the way, in the bright, shining way. I'm in the glory land way, with their faces all aglow and such a happy sound. Everybody joined in and they sang the glory down, and we sang, glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Everybody joined in and we sang the glory down.
Octagonal, last year's Horse of the Year.
He's just a buzz to sit on.
Bouncing back after a series of disappointing failures.
He's just a fantastic individual.
Capturing the imagination of a nation. The aristocrat of the racetrack. Octagonal, tomorrow on Today Tonight.
Monday's experts. They always know what's cooking, how the game was lost.
Tim Watson, our special guest, one of our special guests tonight on Talking Footy, just having James Hird and and also Michael Voss on the program.
Tim, the ramifications for Corey McKernan, I mean, it's a huge setback for a young bloke, isn't it, to be this close to the Brownlow Medal on a questionable sort of outing at the tribunal. What does it mean for him in the context of the grand final?
Well, I think he'll probably go out there and start in the grand final, all things being equal, and his knee injury being not too serious. I actually believe that this will be, if North Melbourne needed an extra spur to win the grand final this year, and perhaps they didn't, given their devastating performance last week, then I think they've just received it tonight. They've already had that us against the rest of the competition type mentality throughout the latter part of the year, given what happened with Fitzroy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that has been used in the motivation to win games, and now they'll be doing it again. And look, I was just saying to Malcolm during the break, it's about players who will go out there totally fearless for the cause. And some probably do in a grand final anyway, but not everyone does. And I think this will get them over the line.
Well, there's a big function in Sydney tonight at Randwick. 1,300 people there. What a week it is for the Sydney Swans. And Jim Wilson from 7 Nightly News. Your mate Tim was up there tonight. Here's Jim.
Thank you, Bruce. Welcome to Royal Randwick Racecourse here in Sydney. It's been a big night. Of course, the Brownlow Medal count for 1996, and of course, a big night and a big few days for the man on my right. I'm of course speaking about Tony Lockett. Welcome to Talking Footy.
How's you? How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. Yeah, it's been well, what a couple of days it's been. What a night on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was fantastic. You know, it's first time for a long time that the club's actually made the grand final. So everyone around the club involved in footy up here in Sydney is very excited, and we're certainly looking forward to a really big week.
Take us through the kick, because I know it's gone from everything from 50 metres to 75 metres. Take us through it and what went through your mind.
Oh well, you know, at that stage of the game, I knew the siren mustn't have been too far away when I first went back. I did hear the siren then halfway through my walk-up, or what I thought I heard was the siren anyway. And I just regained composure, took a couple of steps back again and thought, well, this is it, it's got to go through. We only need a score to win. And I virtually just aimed at the middle and kicked as hard as I could. Unfortunately, it didn't be a goal, but a point was good enough, and we were very ecstatic.
It was a great kick, obviously, with all the mystery surrounding the groin and whatever. You got through it, and obviously it was a fantastic kick to get him into the grand final.
Yeah, well, honestly, I can say I never felt a thing, because you know, at that stage of the game, when the game had to be won, I guess the adrenaline was pumping that hard that, you know, the crowd was right behind all the players, and the feeling was just one of, you know, that you can't really describe, I don't think. And you know, I didn't even honestly think about it before I kicked the ball, and you know, I was just lucky enough that we scored and we won the game.
Your ultimate ambition is always to be playing the grand final. You're going to realise that. How are you going to feel around about 2:30 on Saturday afternoon?
Oh, well, obviously I'll be pretty toey. I'm all right at the moment. I know a few of the boys are already a little bit toey, but probably being around a little bit longer, you know, I just hope to go through my normal week and keep my mind busy, and you know, just, I know come Thursday I'll start getting a bit toey, but you know, it's just one of those things. You've got to relax. You've got to, you know, just learn to live with it. But you know, you wouldn't be human if you didn't get nervous this Saturday.
Tim, you and Malcolm, I mean, both premiership players. Malcolm a couple of times at North, Tim 3 times at Essendon. Tony's first, and in fact, none of the players that'll be out there on the weekend have played in a premiership team. I think only 2, I'm right, one from each team has played in a grand final before.
Robert Scott and Derek Kickett.
Yeah, does it get easy? I mean, is the first one harder than the second and third and fourth grand finals that you're playing for all these players?
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, you do. I mean, there is a different reaction that people have to it, and I always thought that sometimes a really good player could go over the top. I think that's the biggest problem, is actually going over the top, not so much that you're not keyed up.
What do you mean by going over the top?
Well, you just get actually too anxious, you get really too nervous, you get caught up in all the hype of the media and the attention. I mean, the focus is just unbelievable.
Yeah, look, I think that... look, I think the other reason I believe that North Melbourne are in the box seat is because they've been to 2 preliminary finals now, and they've had bitter defeats in both of those preliminary finals. The Sydney Swans, to them, they, to me, look a little bit like we did back in 1983 when we got to the grand final. We had a great victory against North Melbourne. Not that you want to probably remember that one, but and that we actually played our grand final in that particular match. And as young players, we felt that it was all over then.
Except on that point, Mike, I got the feeling Saturday that Dennis Pagan almost... I've done it. I've made a grand final. He was going to go to Sydney, and he hasn't gone. And yet Rodney, the first thing he said to his players was, "You've done nothing. All you've done is qualify for the grand final." So like you know, you would think that way, but the coaches have been quite interesting, haven't they?
That was very telling. I think Ede's influence in that context is going to be very significant. He played 24 finals. He played in the premiership team at 18 years of age. I mean, he is living proof that kids can just take that stride, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think the thing is that there hasn't been any expectation upon Rodney Ede this year, all year. Whatever the result,
they've surprised us.
It's been a surprise. Whereas Dennis Pagan really had to go there this time, and he really had to win a grand final, and I think he's felt the pressure because of that. But they're an excellently prepared side.
What about Lockett's influence? Only kicked the one goal, but it seemed greater than that. And in this incident, how did you read this? I know we've talked about it a fair bit. He was 25 metres out. The blood rule, he was unable to take a kick. Unfortunately, Garlick, I say unfortunately because Garlick's not a good kick for goal, and he took the kick in the end. What should have happened here? What happened, or something else?
As soon as there was a stoppage and he had the footy, and this is a bit unusual, I honestly think that what should have happened, a trainer should have come out, wiped his nose, had a bit of Vaseline, and if it was just surface and dribbled away, or take the kick. I just think a bit of common sense here could have prevailed.
I agree with that. I think if it was sort of free-flowing blood, it's a different situation. But, I mean, you could barely detect that, could you?
Well, the game is static at this stage, isn't it? He takes the kick, and immediately after he's taken the kick, he goes and runs off. I mean, the game, he's either going to score, at that distance, he's either going to score a point, a goal, or it's going to be out of bounds on the foot.
Yes, but also he could be kicked into the man on the mark. No, I disagree with that, Tim. I reckon that what you need, actually, is to just get the trainer to come out, because, I mean, accidents do happen on the footy ground, and if it comes straight back, well, you've got that blood rule. And the rule's the rule.
Well, what happens in that context? Does the umpire give it to the nearest player?
Should give it to the nearest player.